Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just the comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Grace and peace, everyone. Welcome to this new edition of You Are Not Alone, YANA. This new episode, and I appreciate you joining us today. Again, YANA, You Are Not Alone, is a judgment-free, safe space for Black men to talk uncensored about the issues that matter most to us. It's a space for us to be real and for us to be honest and for us to be heard and for us to be listened to. It's a space where we walk the journey of life together, because we're not meant to do life alone. So again, welcome to this new episode of You Are Not Alone. Again, today's guest we have is Thomas Berry, and I would like him to introduce himself, say a little bit about himself, and then we'll get right into the discussion. Thomas, welcome to the show, brother. Say a little bit about yourself, briefly introduce yourself, and tell the audience who you are.
Well, thanks for having me on first and foremost. My name is Thomas Berry. I am the vice president of the Minneapolis NAACP. I'm also the CEO of a platform called 12 Watch and the founder of a foundation, which is called the Watch Foundation. Man, I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a son. I'm even more importantly a member of a great community of people that stretch beyond just this city, but around the world. So I'm happy to be on. I'm happy to talk about it. I am a race man, so you're going to hear a lot of race man conversation, meaning that I'm pro-Black and I am all about my people and I put us first. Does not mean that I don't care about the rest of the spectrum of humanity, but I am always vying to make sure that our community gets what's been missing and what we've been needed, because everyone's put us last and somebody has to put us first.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. So talk about your work. I see, you have this app called 12 Watch. Talk a little bit about that, but you also mentioned another organization that you run. Can you talk a little bit about your app, how it works, and then talk about the other organization that you run?
Yes, I definitely can. So 12 Watch is a GPS populated app that gives citizens the ability to monitor police officers who may violate their civil rights in any city that they travel to. They get access to the documents that the courts have on these officers, how much they cost the city, the threat level, the whole nine. If they are pulled over by any police officer, they have the ability to record that stop, or if they see someone else being pulled over, they can record it. The GPS population will allow their family to know where they're located at if they need assistance. And they'll have abilities if they say they go somewhere like what happened in Chicago, unfortunately, this past week, where there's a mass shooting. They can hit the panic button, get somewhere and hide, and the police hears it and they'll come to their location. It goes out for
Hmm.
50 radius. This is not just for mass shootings. It's also for if a woman feels like she's being abducted, sex trafficked, or what have you. So this app is pretty much designed to make sure that we are protecting the civil liberties of our people, but also covering some of these other things that we're dealing with in society, from the mass shootings to the sex trafficking. You get access to therapists. You also get access to attorneys 24 hours a day. It's a nationwide platform. And I also get I always get asked because I'm a black man. Is it for black people only? No, it's for everybody. Black people, we like everybody's money. We work for everyone, so we like for everyone's money as well. So it's an app for everyone to protect everyone's civil liberty. And that's tied into the Watch Foundation. And the Watch Foundation is the organization that I founded. We have a director, we have a team of therapists, and that whole foundation was formed to make sure that we have a focus on mental health and mental well-being of our community, because a lot of our people, especially black men, we have rising numbers of black male suicide, along with Asian men whose numbers are creeping up with suicide as well. And so we want to make sure that we address those dynamics that are happening right now, because men usually don't have a place to go to have a conversation. But we want to make therapy cool for our community. We want to make it accessible. We want to make it around the clock. And we want to make it to be with people who either look like you or understand what you're going through. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. And another large part of the foundation is to make sure that we deal with families who have been victims of police violence. We assist them with lawyer fees. We assist them with funeral costs. We'll assist them even when the lights go out and the cameras go away. We want to make sure that those families don't feel alone. So if they need therapeutic supports, they need a retreat, whatever they may need their bills paid. Our goal is to let you know nationwide, you are not alone. We have to start
Mm.
trying to fix some of the brokenness that has happened because of societal decay. And so if it's our community who is broken, it's going to have to come from us to do the fixing. And so these are the things that I've dedicated my life to. And by the way, I do have a food pantry that's up under the foundation, which is called the Philando's Pantry, named after Philando Castile. We'll be doing a grand
Wow.
opening on July 16th, I'm sorry, in Brooklyn Park at the CVS parking lot on 7996 Brooklyn Boulevard. And that whole goal was to make sure we have a food desert inside of North Minneapolis and the northwest suburbs, right outside of Minneapolis, which would be Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, uh, Robbinsdale, Crystal, etc. Our people are suffering because they're not making enough money to feed themselves. And with this big, ugly bill that just passed, we can either sit online and criticize what's happening, we could turn a blind eye, or those of us who got away, we should make a way to make sure we feed others. We have a great partnership with a national and international major food distributing chain. So people will be able to come out and get meats. They'll be able to come out and get fruits. They'll be able to come out and get water. They'll be able to come out and get canned goods, dish detergent, laundry detergent, Swifters, you name it, pretty much we'll have. Our first drop is 28 tons, but after that, we'll be doing 2 tons a week. We're just working out the logistics right now, raising capital so that we can make sure we keep those drivers coming, and then we get some of the other things. But I'm excited about doing this. My whole life, somebody's either helped me or I have to help someone else. And so for
Mm.
me, I don't want my legacy when I'm dead to be about what I've said. I want it to be about what I've done. And I'm hoping that it's more about the good that I've done versus the bad that I've done.
Wow. Well, that's a lot, man. You're doing some incredible work. So I want to touch on this 12 watch app for just a second here. So how does it work? I have the app
Mhm.
and I get pulled over by the police. What do I do?
So you got the app, hopefully you got your phone mounted in your car, because we're giving instructions on how to mount your car, because what we're looking to capture is facial recognition of the officer as well as voice recognition, because we want to keep the data. If this officer is racially profiling you, we want to make sure that we can see that,
Right.
you know, with those numbers. All the other thing that we want to make sure too is when this officer is talking, we want to
So
make
how does it work though? I mean, I'm gonna go back. How do I do it? Right? I have the app. Does it automatically turn on when the cops pull me over?
Okay, great. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to give the voice prompt. So we want to make sure you get the voice prompt, because the main
What
thing
do
is
I say? What do
you
I say?
whatever you program it in to say. whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay. So it's, again, tell me how it works
So
so
yeah,
the audience can know.
so you will be able to program the voice prompt. And the reason why you have to program the voice prompt for two reasons. The first reason is to turn it on. The second reason is for the panic button to work, and which I think is the most important feature. You're gonna have to only you can turn it off by your voice prompt. No one
So
else can
what?
turn.
So I'm getting pulled over by the police. I say what?
You say
12 watch, turn on. What do I say?
record the interaction. Whatever you program, whatever you put in there, that's what's going to
Okay.
turn. You turn.
So
You see,
if I say black men are powerful, it'll turn on.
that's what you program in it. Black men are
Really?
powerful. It's going to turn on. Yes. And so that
And
that and
then they start recording the interaction between the cops and myself.
start recording right away. The screen goes black. There is no reverb, so you don't hear the reverb or anything of that nature. And so it's just recording. It's recording. It's recording. They don't know you're recording, but it is recording uh, in live time. Your significant other, your family, they can see where you're located at. Your
Wow.
GPS location should be on. They should be able to hear everything that's happening. And once again, we're trying to make sure we eliminate you having to touch the phone or doing any sudden movements that may cause you harm. Now, I want
That's
to tell
important.
you, initially, we were going to have it to where you could have contact with an attorney. But a good friend of mine who's an attorney in Oklahoma said, do not do that because we don't want to ever have the citizen struggling with the power dynamics with the law enforcement officer. So you have a lawyer on the phone arguing with the cop that's right there. The cop has the gun, feels like they have the might, and then you might harm the citizen, right? So we're eliminating all of those things for men and women. And without the reverb, without that reverb being there, they won't know that they're being recorded. So whatever they say, it's on your profile. If you have to go to court and you somehow lose your phone, you can contact us. We'll send you a copy for free. Our goal is to make sure that citizens truly understand how interactions are supposed to go and then also enforce those interactions with law enforcement across the country.
Okay. And so I'm pulled over. The
Hmm.
cop is at my left window, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm on the driver's side. I'm pulled over. I say black men are powerful. The app turns on
Yes.
and it records audio and video. So they can
Yes.
see the camera can see the whole panoramic because many times they're out of view if they're on the left hand, of course, driver's side asking me for my
Yeah.
license and insurance. How does that
So,
work? Can they capture, will the camera pick up the
well,
officer's face?
I'll say some cameras do have limitation, but with the voice recognition, that's very important. So we're just like facial recognition, voice recognition is key. If we can hear that officer and that officer's already in our database because someone else has the face and the voice, we can match it. We can say, hey, we know by in the state of or the city of Minneapolis, they have to give you a card anytime they pull you over. However, if we got that voice and we can match that voice already in our database, we'll know who that officer is already, so you don't have to swing your camera around. Once again, eliminating the things that you may have to do, right? And it's a lot of apps that people say, oh, yes, yes, a lot of apps, but what they have not done is they haven't combined the technology, A, and B, they're not creating a national database. Because the thing is, Brother James, if you got pulled over and an officer violated your rights, you're James Trice, people know you throughout the city of Minneapolis, you're well respected. That officer could get fired. But that officer could still go get a job inside of San Diego and begin harassing other men who are not James Trice in San Diego. Our goal is to make sure that that officer, once he gets fired for violating citizens' rights, the next city that he goes to, if they decide to foolishly hire that officer, he or she, that they understand who that officer is and that that record or that profile follows them everywhere they go, similar to what they do to us.
Okay. So if the officer is not in your database, what happens then?
Well, that'll be their first entry into our database. And
Okay.
our goal is while people are being stopped and people are recording other people being stopped, is to create that database as time goes on. So
Because
we
there's a pattern that happens, right? Usually officers, if
yes,
they're harassing people's rights, they've done it before. And
yes,
if this right, they've done it before.
yes,
And if this is their first area of harassment, they're going to do it again, most likely.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yes, and that's what typically has happened in all of these cases. Like Derek Chauvin didn't just become Derek Chauvin, right? Like these officers have a pattern of abusing citizens. What happens is we find out about them after they unalive a citizen. What we're saying is no, as a society, we need to be making sure that we stop it before it get to that point. We shouldn't
Mm,
have to go bury someone or see someone lose a limb or be beaten an inch from losing their life. We should be able to say this officer has 5 years of just racial profiling, harassing women. He's upset with the LGBTQ plus community. He's mad at the Asian community for whatever the case may be.
mm-hmm.
Here
Mm-hmm.
is a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
We got him on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You explain to us these stops. And what 12 Watch is doing is creating a tool for organizations who are saying that they want police reform, they want to defund police, whatever the case may be, to
Mm-hmm.
utilize this tool. We got it for citizens so that they can make sure that their civil rights are being protected. Another beautiful thing, too, Brother James, is let's say this officer is in the database and this officer violates your rights. But we got all of the information about this officer already in the database as far as everything that they've done without the courts, how they've been sued, how the city's lost, and everything. When
Mm-hmm.
you get your lawyer, hopefully you get your lawyer through the app. So you get a lawyer through the app. That lawyer doesn't have to go hire a detective. You know why? Because we've already done all the legwork. We got all of that officer's priors, the lawsuits or whatever against the city. We already got that there. How many times he's been reprimanded, et cetera. That's already there. So when you walk into court with your attorney, there is no cop and no deal because pretty much if this officer has a history of doing this, the city already knows who he is, the courts already knows who he is,
Mm-hmm.
and so we don't
Mm-hmm.
have $5 settlements. When I first started this and we first started building out the database and looking at court records, we started seeing the unevenness of civil right payouts. I'll give you a good example. Black man gets shot 9 times. 9 times. He was the wrong person. Police shot him 9 times. They paid him in a civil case $999.
Wow.
$999. We're talking right here in the Twin Cities. We're talking about pre-George Floyd. A family. The police served the warrant to the wrong home on a Saturday night. They come in the home, they knock out the father, they beat the mother, and they do this right in front of their teenage children. Wrong home. They paid that family $5,000. How could that father ever feel like a man in his home when they violated his home, knocked him out, beat his wife?
Mm-hmm.
You ever feel like a man, right? This is the terrorism that our community through on a regular basis. So for us, it's not just about getting you off the force. It's also making sure that even on the civil rights, because it's a lot of discrimination in those cases.
Yeah.
Before George Floyd, the largest payout I think was like two something $1 million. Wasn't a lot of
Right.
money. Not for our community. Once the white lady got shot by the Somali officer,
Officer Noor.
yeah, after Officer Norris, she
Yep.
got paid I
Yep.
think like 21 million.
21 million. Justine was her
Yeah,
name.
and
Yeah,
and, and,
white woman.
and remember, Justine wasn't she wasn't just a white woman, but remember, Justine was from another country.
Yep.
Prime minister from her country chimed in, and that's how that 21 million became 21 million. If the prime minister never would have said a word, they probably would have gave her 10 million, maybe 5 million. So there's been a level of
Right.
injustice in even the civil payouts.
Right.
And so we want to level that out and then
So,
give.
so let me ask you the question. Let me ask you the question. I don't mean to interrupt because I know we have a little bit of time because I did want to ask this other question. What is the admissibility of this in court? Have you seen it? Cases where people have used the app to prove their case of officer abuse.
We haven't gotten that far into it yet. And we
Okay.
hope once we launch, we can get into it and we'll be monitoring. Those are also the data and stats that we'll be using too.
So you don't know what the admissibility of this is in court.
Not yet.
Can a citizen use this in court?
Oh,
Can a judge strike it down and say that's unadmissible for this and that
mm,
reason?
oh, that reason. So in the state of Minnesota, yes, certain states have laws. Now, certain states have laws where you cannot record. It's like Baltimore. You can't record in Baltimore. It has to be certain specific things, and when you can record inside of Arizona. There's what's another state that I'm thinking about? Um, Pennsylvania have strict laws. Maryland has, as I said, Baltimore. Yes, so Maryland has strict laws. But I would tell you, out of 50 states, 45 states you can record and use this. This will be admissible in court.
Right. So you can record an officer abuse. So you're saying in these other states that you just mentioned that a citizen cannot record an officer abusing them.
They have where you have to give people permission.
So you
Well,
could tell you gotta have to tell the officer, I'm recording you right now.
you have to tell the officer or you have to let it be known. So what I would do in those states, let's say in Maryland, we would just get bumper stickers to let officers know that hey, this car is equipped with 12 with 12 watch, and if pulled over by the police, we are recording. Something
That's
short
good to know.
enough where they know. Same thing with these other places where they would have to give them information letting them know that for their safety that they are recording and that this live feed is going out to people in their network. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out and how it's played out, particularly in states, and we're in Minnesota, where we see issue of a cop abusing a citizen, and they're using this 12-hour watch to bolster their charges uh, against this officer, their complaint, and that the court uses this. So it'd
Mhm.
be interesting to see. So let's continue to watch and watch and see what happens with that. I'll be watching. I'm asking everybody who's listening to be watching. I'm asking people who are listening to this and watching this podcast to actually get the 12 Watch app and begin to use it. And so anyway, let me ask you another question. What do you think is the most challenging thing about being a black man here in America? Because we talked about this 12 Watch app,
Yeah,
and we know the proliferation of police violence
yeah,
against black men, right, over
yeah,
the years. I mean, we don't even need to say the names. We can go on and we say the names. We'll take up all of this show, right?
yeah.
Because it's endless. Um, so we know that police brutality is a thing. With that, what do you think is the most challenging thing about being a black man here in America is?
I think right now, and I want to say this, preface it because a rapper that I liked committed suicide um, on Thursday night.
Yeah, I heard that. That was he used to be with
Tupac, Young Noble.
yeah, he used to play with he used to record with Tupac, right?
Yep, Young Noble. And so he has a special needs child that's left behind.
Oh wow.
But his health was deteriorating, and you could see on the interviews he wasn't looking like himself, and he wasn't feeling like himself. And for me, you can say a lot of things, but I'll get to what I think is the root. The root of it is black men are just not listened to.
Hmm.
Black men are just not listened to. Your dreams. Every time you tell someone your dreams, watch how they adjust your dreams. Your problems. Every time you tell someone your problems, it's always going to be how you can do better. How you feel, you shouldn't feel that way. Like, but look at how we tell everyone else in society. We need to listen to them. Yeah, oh, we need to be more kinder. You know, they go through things. We're the only group that is overly held accountable for things that are really out of our control, whether it's the federal government, our family dynamics, what someone in our family has done that we wasn't there with them when they've done it, right? Like it's this level where I think they try to tap into our ego, and I feel like our egos have been exploited, if you will. When I think about this young man and his suicide, he's 47. He was 47. I'm 48. He just turned 47 on March 16th. Just turned 47. And I
Mm.
think about this young man thinking in his teens that he was going to be famous because he's with
Hmm.
the biggest rap stars of all time, and that rap star ends up murdered.
Right.
And then there's a lot of people notoriety with them as a group, shortly after his death because they got these albums and what have you, but it never really probably allowed him to pay the bills for his family.
Hmm. So what do you think is the solution to that? And what are you doing to address it? The
Well,
solution to the biggest problem facing black men. What do you think the solution to that is? You said the biggest problem is that we're not listened to. Nobody hears our concerns. Nobody hears our complaints. Actually, it's turned around on us as if it's our fault or if it's on us to do something about what happens to us. What do you think the solution is, man?
so I think the first solution is that we have to stand in the gaps and start listening to each other. And if we don't start listening to each other, nobody else is going to listen to us. We got
Right,
to listen to each other. We got to give each other soft places to land. We have to start saying, brother, okay, you got this issue. I'm here to talk to you about whatever's going on in your life. And it ain't got to be about me. I'm turning off me off. I'm here to hear you. And you know what? I ain't even coming with solutions. I just want to hear you, right? And acknowledge that I see you. That's what I have to do for the men that I come across. Us, even on these social media platforms, I have to give grace to men because people are not failures because they want to fail. They are failures because some things in their life may not have went right. It may be within their
right,
control and it may be out of their control, but it's not my place as a man to judge them because I may be doing better at the moment, because I may have a voice that people listen to at the moment. It does not mean that it will always be that way. And I may myself find myself in a mental spiral. And I
yeah,
hope someone finds grace and understanding for me and an ear. But we have to do that. And as black men, we have to start creating and mobilizing things for brothers. That does not mean we get into this anti woman space. That's not what I'm saying. What
right,
I'm saying is that we can have space for both, but I don't want you to protect my daughter and not protect my sons. Because why must my sons be left out here to fend in a society where they're public enemy number one?
yeah,
I hear a lot of conversations about who's the most disrespected, but the black man in America is public enemy number one, hated by
yeah,
all other ethnic groups and in races. And so we must not forget that. And if you're a black man in America, you know how it is going in that Korean store. You know how
yeah,
the Arabs treat you. You know how white folks treat you. Hell, you even know how your own people treat you. So,
right,
black folk, black men especially, we know that hate.
right. I'm reading this book here by Dr. Joseph White and James Cone, and Dr. Joe's wife has passed. And he said in his book, he said both of them say that the black man in America is perceived or typecast as as villains, America's villains is what they say. And so when you talk about needing space for us to have for ourselves, it's interesting that when you begin to create spaces like this platform, like YANA, right? It's a space for black men to talk, to be heard, to be listened to, and to realize that, we don't have to work this journey of life alone because we're not meant to do life alone. When we create these spaces, there's an amazing amount, and when I say amazing, not in a positive way, of opposition to black men coming together and creating spaces for ourselves. As I said before, I was in a conference. It was for black men. I was in a conference, and it was unfathomable to me how many women were in the space that was meant for black men. It was a black men's conference, and women were throughout it. And I was questioning, why are women here? Not that I'm married. I've been married 38 years, 39 years, going on 39 this year. 39. So it's not that, but why come we have to have the women in a space that was set for black men? And the man who was hosting the conference, his wife had to stand up and check why
Mm,
the women were there in the room. She said, "Why are y'all here?
mm,
This is a space for black men." So
mm,
she had to come into the room to address the women. He
mm,
didn't do it because he felt like, oh, I better not say that. The black man, but the woman, his wife, had to come in and say, "Why are y'all here? What's
mm,
going on? This is a space for the brothers. Can we let the brothers have their space?" Right?
mm.
So it just really just underscores
Yeah.
what you just mentioned. We have just a few minutes left, like 4 minutes left. Let me ask you this question. In the final few minutes, for black men who are listening, for our audience who's
Mm.
listening to you right now, what final words would you say to them? What would you say to the black men that are listening right now? What words would you say to them? And then the second question is, and the last one is there a book or a song or something, a poem or whatever that encourages you, that inspires you, that motivates you, that you would like to share with us?
Okay. So the first thing I would say is that black man, you are enough. If you could think it, you can be it. And more importantly, I used to have this saying that I'm in the knowing business. But as of late, I have gotten more into the believing business.
Hmm.
Having faith, not needing everything to be perfect in order for me to step out and do what I want to. But innovate, change. If you feel like there's a problem, brother, create. You're going to feel a lot better using your hands or using your mind and being able to look at the things that you constructed. Do not fall for the limitations that other people put on you. And you got to understand sometimes those limitations come and they're stressful, but people are doing it out of love and fear. But you have to let them understand that where God stands, there is no fear. So you don't
Man,
be fearful in the things that you create. You don't need to put limits on yourself. And at the same time, don't you limit other people. Don't you put fear in other people. You put love, you put hope, you put inspiration in the people. And it doesn't mean that you're going to always see eye to eye. Does not mean that everything is going to be perfect. And you're going to have to do some reconciliation with self first and reconciliation
right,
with others. But brother, feel good about you and do what those dreams are telling you to do, go ahead and listen to that voice and start creating and manifest your destiny. A great book that I would tell anybody to read is Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry.
hmm,
Not is a great book because it talks about the Western society's thoughts on black men. And Dr. Tommy Curry is a sharp brother. He's a friendly cat. Dr. James, I'm gonna call you Dr. Trice. You're pretty much like a doctor around this place. But brother Trice, I am going to get you his contact information because when I was
please.
podcasting, he was even talking about coming on my podcast. But Man Not is a phenomenal book. I found out a lot of things I didn't even know up until 2015, um, the explosion of social media, that black men actually led in domestic violence victims in the United States. I didn't know
Victims of
that.
domestic violence.
Victims. And he talks about this,
Wow.
and he talks about the aggression that happens towards black bodies and black male bodies. So, Man Not is a great, phenomenal book. He uses a lot of college terms because he's a big brained brother. But
Okay.
he does break it down in layman's term quite a bit. Mhm.
Okay. And what's the name of the book again?
It's called Man Not.
Man Not. And by who? What's the author's name?
Dr. Tommy Curry.
Okay. And they can get it, we can get it anywhere.
You can get it on Amazon. You can
Okay.
order from Amazon. You can order at Barnes and Nobles. I've been trying to look for it on audio, but Black
Okay.
Audio is kind of hard to find audio audible books, but it's definitely a great
Yeah.
book. It's a great
All
inspiration
right.
because it tells you as a Black man how the world sees you, but really who you are as a man. We're much more than what they see and say about us.
Okay. Man Not.
And not.
To Dr. Curry. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for joining the show, man. I appreciate you. We got to get you back on soon. I really appreciate, man, just 12 watch. And I'm definitely going to get the app myself. But I thank you, brother, for joining us. And everyone in my audience, thank you so much for joining this episode of YANA. You are not alone. We are interconnected to one another, and we're not meant to do life alone. Grace and peace, everyone. And see you next time. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone.